Coach Jackson here, and I'm excited. If I'm excited, you know it's because I got another client success story coming your way. This is my client Ryan, and Ryan is an amazing, incredible guy. But more importantly, he got some unbelievable results in this program. I mean, mind blowing stuff here. He lost about 35 pounds. He cut his body fat in half, getting it below 15%. But he also took his waist from 37 down to 28. Incredible. And he did all of this in the span of about 16 weeks. More importantly, there's mindset shifts, there's identity changes, there's emotional changes, confidence, all kinds of stuff. And I get so emotional during this interview, I even start to cry up, tear up a little bit. So you know it's a good one. Now, I don't want to steal any of his thunder, so I'm going to take it to Ryan here, let him introduce himself, and we're going to dive right into his story. Enjoy.
Hey there, it's Coach Jackson. Now I'm here with one of my star students. His name's Ryan. Ryan absolutely crushed my program. He got some pretty incredible results. So I wanted to bring him on not only to talk about his amazing results, but also to share his story because I think you're going to relate to it. I think you're going to see a lot of similarities maybe to where you're at if you're listening to this or watching this at home. But you're also going to learn a lot from him and what he's gone through, his ups, his downs, the things he's overcome, and then obviously now being on the other end of all that. So Ryan, welcome. Thank you so much for doing this. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Jackson, thank you for having me. And of course, everything we've been through, I'm so happy to do this. But so as you said, my name is Ryan, from New Jersey and 36 years old. And yeah, just had incredible results with this program and just want to to talk to you about it.
Well, now before we get to all the amazing, really good stuff, why
Mhm.
don't we talk just a little bit about where you were before we started working together? So
Yeah.
I know this is kind of like the bad stuff, but where were you at physically, mentally, emotionally before we even started working together?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So before we even started working together, I'm going to be honest. I thought I was doing decent. I thought I was doing well. I exercised often. I had just gotten a tonal, and I was doing exercising every day because I became addicted. And what was happening was I was putting in so much work, but I wasn't seeing the results. And what really shocked me was I took a picture about a month and a half into it, and when my wife took the picture and then she showed it to me. And this was the wow, I'm going to look big because I've been exercising with the machine, and I didn't look great. And I said, what am I doing wrong? And that was kind of the turning point, because I was doing the programs on tonal, and I was doing some more stuff because I thought the more you did, the more you get out of it. And I wasn't getting the results at all.
Interesting. So I've heard this before from several clients. So this doesn't necessarily shock me, but it might shock some of the listeners at home.
Yeah.
So you in your mind felt like you were doing great, like you were
Yeah.
crushing it, like
Yes.
in your head, what you were in your head didn't match up to what you saw in the mirror. Does that sound about right?
That's absolutely right. I was starting to exercise a ton. I went to the local GNC. I grabbed protein shakes. I was doing a protein shake in the morning. I was crushing tonal in the morning. I was, eating, and I was doing another protein shake. And I I thought I was big. I thought I was getting big. And when I saw the one picture, I said, I have to turn this around. Something's going wrong here. Because I was putting in way too much work. I was looking better before I was doing the work. So something was wrong.
Interesting. So it
Mhm.
wasn't until you saw that picture that it kind of hit you the reality of where you actually were. So
That's
you're
right.
putting in all this work, not
Yeah.
necessarily seeing the results, and that picture just brought it all home to you. And it was like, okay, I need to make a change.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Yep.
Okay, so you see the picture, you know you need to make a change. What do you do then?
So I started really going through the internet. I had started to do some of your programs actually on Tonal. So I started became familiar with you, and I just Googled you. I said, does he have any other advice, things like that? And I found your one book. Um, I forget the name of it, Secret to Success of Abs or something along those lines.
7 secrets for chiseled abs.
That's it. So, and as I started reading it, there was so much more that I was really missing, right? And it wasn't around, how often are you exercising, but there was a big food component that I was like starting to grasp a little bit. It was a little bit of the metabolic exercise and switching things up. it was great material, but I wanted more. And that's really when I sought you out, and I emailed you, and you got back to me pretty quickly, and we had the groundbreaking conversation that kind of kicked us all off here.
Awesome. So decide to make the change. You're gathering more information. I love what you said there. You went out, you got some education, you got my book, you started reading, you started taking ownership of things, which is great. Sometimes people just want to either pay for a result or think they could just like magic's going to happen overnight. You didn't do that. You took some responsibility. That's great. We
Yeah.
talked, we decided to bring you aboard. Then what happened?
Then it was so it's funny again where I had already thought, again, I'm taking the before pictures for you. So you on board, and when you do the program, for those that are watching and what's it all about, you get onboarded with videos and apps, and it's so flawless. And you get to a point where it says, all right, take your before pictures. And I remember mentally still thinking, again, not that, I knew I was big. I was like, all right, something happened here, but I still thought I looked pretty good. I was like, you know what, like these are going to be, it's almost not fair that I'm taking these before pictures, because how much work are we really going to get done here? But I knew I wanted to be healthier and do it better. So I took those pictures, and again, when you go through the program, you're looking back and you're measuring yourself week by week by week, and the amount of progress that happened over that time, it was tremendous. And it's funny because I still laugh. And I, even last night, laughing with my wife, Christy, who we looked at the first picture I took, and I go, remember I thought I looked good in this picture? And then just to what the results are today, and it was staggering.
It is pretty staggering. But why don't we talk a little bit about some of the obstacles before we get to the
Sure.
amazing, awesome results?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
we started, you see that picture, you're like, wow, I can't believe this. Was there this big drop for you at any point where maybe you thought you couldn't climb out of this hole because when you look at the picture, it wasn't what you were matching up with in your head?
Yeah, that's a great point. I, again, I thought I was, I, I didn't think I'd be able to get down to, six pack, down to see abs again. Because in high school, sure, I did soccer, I did a lot of running, and that was just a different time. And I just figured, mid 30s, you hear things about, testosterone slowing down, you hear just things of it's going to be tough. So I entered it thinking I'm going to get healthy, because, we're in the middle of COVID and quarantine, right? We're doing this in now 2021, but when we first started meeting, it was 2020. We're locked indoors. I have this piece of exercise equipment. I thought I was using it right, but the results weren't as fast as I thought they would be. So, and again, went backwards. So when it came down to where did I think I'd be, I thought I'd be healthier. I trusted that I would maybe, become a little more muscular. But not thinking that I would get down to, cutting the kind of weight that I ended up cutting with this program.
Interesting. So even to you, you weren't even necessarily believing that you'd be able to get to where you're at
That's right.
now.
100%. Yeah. No. Mm-mm.
Fascinating.
I did
Great.
not think that at all. No.
Well, let's share the results. We'll go back, see if we can cover any obstacles that you hit along the way, and then
Yeah.
we'll talk a little bit about the belief, the confidence, maybe that kind of came up, and then we'll also touch on kind of any lessons learned along the way that I think would be really fun, and maybe some of the other benefits of fitness. So why don't
Yeah.
you tell everybody what are the results?
Yeah. So when I first met you, I was hovering just under about 190 pounds. And again, I'm thinking it's muscle. This is great. I'm like, I want to gain weight. Today, I'm now sitting around about 152, 153. So, over 35 pounds later. And I would say if you had told me in the beginning that that was going to be the amount of weight, I would have said, no, I'm going to look way too skinny when this is done. I'm just not a believer. Um, but the way the weight came off and just the muscle came on, it was a lot easy. It wasn't with your program, it wasn't that tough to actually lose the weight, I'll be honest with you. But as the weight came down, it was just easier to put muscle on. And that was kind of the switch that went off in my head as those results came in. I didn't know what body fat was till I met you. When we first met, you said, okay, you're measuring at 27% body fat. Thought that was decent. I'm now just shy of under 15%, and it makes a big deal, especially when you're able to lose the weight. to then put muscle back on. And so I'm hovering there and very comfortably, not struggling at all to maintain that whatsoever. And I guess my waist, which again, through this program, you're measuring yourself constantly and you're baselining where you are. I was up around 38, which I can't even believe. And now today, just under 29 inches. So
Wow,
we lost it.
incredible.
Yeah.
So lost roughly 35 pounds. You cut your body fat. What is that,
Yeah.
like 12%, somewhere in there?
Yeah.
And your waist is down over 8 inches. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Now, here's the really interesting thing about what you said. You said, I thought I had all this muscle on me. And I hear this especially from guys all the time. They just think they're just this big
Yes.
muscle walking around. But when
Yeah.
you lose a lot of the body fat, when it starts to come off, you actually look bigger than you
Yes.
did before. So now, I mean, in comparison to where you were before, and we'll show the photos here and stuff so everybody
Yeah.
can see. But
Awesome.
before, your arms looked smaller. Now
Yeah.
your arms look a lot bigger. Before, your
Right.
shoulders looked small. Now your
Yeah.
shoulders look so big. It's
Yeah.
because you're leaner, so the muscles really showcasing off, and you can really see the pops, the striations. You can see all of it, like the anatomy chart. It's incredible.
That's, that's right. That's right. And again, if you were talking those numbers when we first met, like I didn't understand. I couldn't put two and two together. I would have said that's way too skinny, and there's just no reason for it. And yeah, again, the results were incredible, and the numbers are what the numbers are. But I love it.
So physically, that's amazing. But what
Yes.
about either from a health, maybe
Yes.
emotional, confidence standpoint? Like, what are all the other benefits of this transformation other than just the physical changes?
Absolutely. So not only is it the exercising, right, but you're eating so much cleaner, and you're not going out and getting crazy food or anything like that. It's literally things that are in your kitchen now, right? And it's making small tweaks, tossing out some of the junk food and things like that. And that's probably the biggest thing I learned. Not only was the exercise, and we can go through, why it was interesting and why, it wasn't a grind. It really was, it was great in the way you changed up the exercise right before you think you're about to hit a grinding point. But the food was something I really never put in the equation. I think even today, when people ask me about how did you make the change, what's your exercise routine, it's funny because I always say you're asking the wrong question. It really started in the kitchen, and going through it, even in your onboarding videos around, just what to look for. Like, what are you basically took us through a shopping list of what you bought, and now my shopping list is basically the same thing. So I'm eating food that I love. The food's great and it's normal stuff, but I'm eating a lot cleaner. So like that was probably the biggest thing that I learned, and probably the biggest habit now that I just love, of what we carry forward here.
So, with the changes with the eating, how's energy? How's your
Yep.
confidence, focus, all that stuff?
Yep. So just, yeah, again, I think it was eating cleaner and things like that, but just mentally extremely more aware. I was definitely a 3 to 4 coffee cup drinker to kind of get through the day. Just now it's just natural energy. And it really is too, because the habit I built is in the beginning of the day now, I exercise, and it's like, I just need to do it. And it really jumpstarts my day. And I'm just way more productive. I don't hit a 3 p.m. slump like I used to. Um, and in fact, I want to always go, I'm like, let me do an extra set of abs or something like that. Because you just got a lot more energy. And it really was, I think it really was, surrounding the food and just, the habit and things like that. So a lot more alert. My cardio is levels above where it used to be. As you know, we talk weekly. So I'm a hockey coach. It's another thing that I do. Definitely in the beginning of the season was struggling to keep up, go through exercises, things like that. Now, now I can keep up with those 8-year-olds. So, feeling strong and tough there. But just all around, mentally more aware, cardio much better, strength is ridiculous, and just over and over, just week by week, measuring what I was lifting the week prior, just the weights are getting heavier, and still going. The program's over now, but the habits and what I learned, it's I don't see how it's ever going to stop or end. But I'm loving it. I built a true habit here. This was not a grind for 8, 16 weeks and get results. This was build and learn a new lifestyle, and there's no reason to stop. And you're not going to want to go back, and things are great. And I'm sure we'll get to it, but it's not that, we talk about food, it's not that I can't go out and have cupcakes or go and have, splurge. And we just use those now as rewards. That's what we always talk about is you're disciplined during the week and you feel like you earned it now. Yeah, I enjoy my junk food. I enjoy a pizza. So I'm not missing out on life. I'm not missing out being social. I just was smarter about what I was doing with my time and how I put it all together.
Wow.
Yeah.
We got to unpack a lot there because you just dropped a huge bomb on me. So there's so much good stuff there. Okay, the
Yeah.
first thing I want to talk about is the kids, then your shift in identity because you said I can
Yeah.
maintain this forever. Like I got
Yeah.
this now, which is a complete huge shift mentally. And then we'll talk a little bit about like the cheats and being able to use foods as rewards. But
Yeah.
so a lot of people that I work with who have children, they often say a lot of things like kids don't do what you say, they do what you do. So
Right.
how has maybe your
Right.
relationship with your family or your kids or the kids that you coach, because you're a role model for a lot of people,
Yeah.
how has that changed now that you're so much more physically fit and in a different space?
Yeah. And it's funny when we first started onboarding, that was one of the reasons, right? One of the things you wanted in the beginning was a strong why, right? And when you're choosing your clients and you're going through that, you want to know why they want to do it. And that was one of my reasons was knowing that my kids were watching, right? They watched when I grabbed ice cream at night. They watched when I didn't exercise and they watched, if I struggled on the ice and I just, I didn't have the energy. The transformation is, they know, oh, daddy exercises. They come next to me. I'll be in my office from working from home now because of COVID and the lockdown and all that. But they'll come in here and they'll do burpees now, just because they've seen me do that and they like to do that. And I see them, and they're getting stronger and they want to exercise. Um, and at night now too, in the beginning, it was just me that was, cooking cleaner, and they watched what I was eating and they wanted to then transform and watch what, eat the same thing. And I watched them transform too. And it's really been a learning experience. And all the way to the end that now, obviously my wife saw, the results that I got, and she's now signed on and a client of yours. And she's, the whole household is just transformed because of, what you set forward for us. So I can't thank you enough for that.
Wow, man, you're gonna get me emotional here. Holy cow. Uh, so growing up in a household where my mom isn't struggled with health quite a bit,
Yeah.
it really hits home for me, and that really touches me emotionally because you're now such an incredible role model for your family, and to
Yeah.
see your kids now making changes and doing burpees and wanting to
Yeah.
eat healthier and stuff, that is just incredible because you're not just, people think it's just doing it for themselves. It's not. You're doing it for yourself, but you're also doing it for your kids and then their kids and their kids. Now you're going to
That's right.
affect generations to come. Like you're the guy that made the shift, that changed everything in the family tree. Now, generations of people are going to be super healthy, fit, active, energetic because
Yeah.
of you.
I love it.
Incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Wow, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Um, so, outside of that, let's talk about the identity shift a little bit as I gather
Yeah.
my emotions. So, you went from, okay, I'm this strong guy to wait, maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was,
Right.
to then I got this result. I got a result better than I ever thought I could get with the abs and the muscles and
Yeah.
everything now. And it's going to be easy to maintain. That is a massive shift, man. I mean, that's a roller coaster of identity and emotions. Why don't you just talk me through that a little bit? Your shift along the program, and then how you got to where you're at now.
Yeah. it, it is an evolution through the program. And I remember had to be about 3 weeks in, and I was when we were talking, because in the beginning, the results they do come fairly quickly, and it is one of those things that when you're doing this with your body and you're just not eating the ice cream every night and you're cutting some of the simple things, the transformation happens pretty easily, and I don't want to say easy like people that, hey, you just, it's like it just happens overnight, but it definitely every single week you feel like, hey, this is really working. And I remember 3 or 4 weeks in, I even told you, and I said, hey, if we stopped here, I think I'd be happy. Like, this is great. Um, and I think that's just the realizations that every month, like the results would get better, right? And then, or you'd see changes, and they'd be, and then now, even as like the time goes on, they're still small and slight changes, but you just feel that evolution in your body. And I think over time, now it's like, as we're kind of coming out of the winter seasons and now we're heading back in the spring, it's, being proud of kind of the results that I have. And, now going to a person that, before I was kind of, maybe shy of taking a shirt off or not feeling comfortable in what I was wearing, to how many people now say, well, hey, you really got some good results. Like, what did you do and how did you do it? And it's funny because I think we talked about this too, where, at this point, I think I'm maybe up to like 5 or 6 tonals that, that actually people, got off my referral. But I try to tell my guys, like, that's 20% of what we're talking about here. There's how you do it, when you do it, how you eat, like there's a whole thing behind it. And I think that's, I've become kind of that person now people ask questions too. And I say, my man Jackson can definitely hook you up. That's only, but the exercise and things like that, again, I took that wrong turn thinking that's all you need in life. You just need to exercise and the results will happen. It's not working harder, it's just working smarter. And that's it. If you're not working smarter, then you're going backwards.
What's it like that you're now the guy that people look to and say,
Yeah.
wow, look at you. What did you do? Like, what does that feel like to now be that person that people are looking to as like almost a fitness role model, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I just surreal. Just the words is surreal. Just, I've just never been in that position in my life before. And now it feels great. Now I'm not gonna lie, it feels great.
Have you, I know it's still probably pretty cold in Jersey, right? So you
Yes.
haven't really had an opportunity to show off
No,
the beach body yet, right?
no, you're looking about mid-May to June at this point. So
Okay.
it's a few more months to go.
So we'll have to maybe do a recap. We'll have to do
Yes.
another interview at some point so I can hear the story when you finally get out to whether it's I don't know, Jones Beach or wherever you guys go, Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore. That's right. But that being said, there's a picture of me and my kids from August, at the beach. And again, that was in August. We were about 2 months into this, and those were amazing. I was happy. Um, I think the biggest thing that, again, going through that summer months, I'm thinking Jersey now. It gets cold, you're inside, but you being there to coach me through the holidays, because that was one of my biggest fears. Was when I started doing the math in my head, how long are we working together? What is happening? In my head, I go, oh, there's a holiday season that I'm gonna, I can't be on a fitness program or anything like that. But the way you were able to coach me, where I had a splurge on Thanksgiving, Christmas week felt great. Like, I didn't miss out on anything. And but it was knowing the tools of how to do it, how to eat what you want to eat. Maybe it's an exercise with 1 or 2 right before. And like, there was a way to approach it where I had a phenomenal holiday season, missed nothing. And now I'm turning the corner in Jersey back to bathing suit season. I haven't skipped a beat.
Wow, that's incredible, man. You're just blowing my mind. Seriously. I know we talked a lot about this stuff, but
Yeah.
when we sit down and really dive in and I get to hear every last detail, the whole journey,
Yeah.
and relive all the emotions, it's just
Yeah.
incredible. Because
Yeah.
what you just said there is something so profound. A lot of people think I can't be on a health plan over the holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and they almost just accept the fact that they're going to gain weight, they're not going to work out, they're not going to do
Yeah.
these things.
Right.
And you just said, not only did I continue on my plan, but I still got to enjoy myself. And then I
Yeah.
just got right back on track. I think that's a
Right.
huge mental shift. So we went through this whole program. You still got cheat meals. You can still
Yeah.
drink alcohol.
Yes.
Like to your point earlier, we just use them now as a reward. So we shifted the way you think about those things to use them strategically to incentivize you to do what you're supposed to do, right?
Right. That's absolutely right. Yep. Absolutely right.
Really,
Absolutely.
really incredible. So as you kind of look back on this whole journey, were there any sort of real obstacles that maybe you want to share that was like, that was a really tough one, but we got through it? Is there anything that you could think of that was either a roadblock, a speed bump, or something that was really tough for you to overcome?
Yeah. Honestly, Jackson, like with you, again, we talk every single week through this program. So like you got me pretty prepared for what to expect, how to plan. It was just probably the biggest thing in the beginning was, again, 80% in my mind was food, how to use it, when to use it, what to eat. And I think in the beginning it was just really kind of just thinking about kind of what did I want to do the next day? Like, what's it, what kind of food would I eat? Can I eat? And before it became second nature, just, what, I can have a steak. I should have some healthy fats with that. Okay, great. And like, and kind of planning that out. So I'd say for about, about a week or so, about a week and a half, it probably was like a little tough just to understand and get myself mentally prepared to be like, okay, how can I eat? What do I eat? And now it's just, again, it's second nature. And I remember, as people go through, they learn about macros and learn about, what does that mean within food. And you and I were talking food, and you're naming kind of macros off the top of your head. And I was like, I want to get to that kind of spot in my life. And now I do. I open a refrigerator and I can kind of look at what's in there and piece together. I say, okay, I know how much protein I'm gonna really need. I know what kind of carbs I'll need for the today, and to bring that all in. And that's probably another thing too I want to hit on was in the beginning. I remember in our first conversation, I said, okay, I've been on the internet, Jackson. I've heard fads of like a keto diet and this diet. And I'm like, I don't want to swear off carbs. I don't want to swear off this. And you promised me from the beginning, you're like, listen, we're not going to do any, you're not going to swear off foods and things like that. Um, and I think that's been probably the most exciting thing was that it wasn't just, hey, cut carbs or do this. Again, it was very strategic in how you kind of weave through the program of, hey, okay, now in the program for what we're doing, you're going to want more of this. And then as we shift, now you want more of that. So it's continuously shifting. And then now just in the phase that I'm in, that I know, I can have my carbs, I can have my proteins, I can have my fats. And from what you taught me was, as I get through the summer season, I know when I want to switch now to a more metabolic, what my food's going to look like. When I want to switch to more bulking, what my food's going to look like. So like I have these roadmaps, like Legos I could put together and really come through with, kind of how I want to navigate my body and how I want to navigate my results. But I feel I'm in the driver's seat now with the right tools.
Now, when we first spoke, this is a concern of a lot of people. When they want to sign up for a program like this, they're really concerned that they're going to be stuck and they're going to have to pay for a trainer or coach for the rest of their life. And I
Yeah.
promised you
Yes,
I was going to help you. I was
yes,
going to teach you the skills, the
yes.
habits, the mindset, and give you the education, everything that you needed so you could take control and do this on your own for the rest of your life so you never had to pay another coach or a trainer again. That's a big promise, but
That's
it's
right.
something I really believe
Yeah.
in because my goal is to help more people like you, not just to keep you on my client roster forever. Because if you're
That's right.
here, then I can't help somebody else.
That's right.
Do you feel like you got that?
100%. 100%. Yeah. I got much more out of this than I ever imagined. And I truthfully mean that. Again, I know what foods are good for me. I know what foods to eat. I know the exercises. But more importantly, you spent the time to really go over why, right? And that's the thing. It's not a in the program, it was never a set and forget. It wasn't a okay, it's bench and it's chest and back today, it's buys and tries. It was never like that. It was here's what we're going to do for this chunk of time, right? We're going to take 4 weeks and we're going to focus on metabolic. And this is the reason why. And you always said, here's the reason why. Here's again the foods that you'll be eating with it. Here's what we can expect during this period. And then it's funny again, because after 4 weeks, you're like, right when you get used to it, you're like, all right, we're switching it up. And now we're going to go enter this phase. But it wasn't just here's the exercises do them. It was here's the reason why we're going to enter this phase because this is what your body's going to adapt to. This is how it's going to change. So this is why we do this at this point. Again, here's how you want to eat around it. Here's how the results we want to see. And then again, every for our time, it was every Monday. We would talk about how the week went, any challenges, anything we need to tweak. We go over the results, and that's just how together we learned about my body. And after the time with you now, I feel like I've learned my body from what you taught me.
Pretty incredible. Well, I don't want to take too much of your time, but let's just wrap this up a little bit with a couple bows here for the people at home. Any
Absolutely.
last breakthroughs, insights, anything that you want to share that you learned across this program that you think would be useful?
It's such a loaded question. I learned so much, but yeah, just again the exercises, the food, just um the other thing, I guess the one thing we didn't really talk about, right, is just again, I mentioned I walked to a GNC and I walked out with, buckets and tubs of protein and, thought that was the answer to everything. Um, Spending the time with me, going through materials, right? What supplements are the right supplements? What where's the kind of the web of supplements with the big companies, and what you should be avoiding and things like that. And I think it's one of the biggest myths that, I think, you taught me about, and kind of what was the right way to approach that. So that was pretty big, because I think you saved me a ton of money in the long run, because I was definitely the guy that, would run and say, what's the best thing to use and what should we be using. Um, but so I'd say that was that breakthrough. I can't emphasize enough about the food. Again, the food, how you're fueling your body. I didn't realize I was doing it so wrong, and that without the right fuel in the body, it's just, the exercise is just, just not happening, or you're just doing them wrong. So again, it's hard to say like, here's the one thing. It's just how it all weaves together, because it's definitely a formula, but if you don't put all the pieces together the right way, I learned I wasted a lot of time in my late 20s and early 30s.
You said it right just there.
Yeah.
You said emphasize the food, but it's putting these puzzle pieces together. And
Mhm.
when I talk to people, so often they're either crushing the workouts, or maybe they're not working out as much, but they got the nutritionist and they think that's going to be the answer. But it's getting somebody, ideally one person, that can put these puzzle pieces together for you. That can get the workouts, that can get the nutrition, that can get the supplementation to accelerate things, and then get the mindset here. And then when we can get all those things to work together synergistically, all headed in the same direction towards your goal, that's when you get insane compounding, just building upon results like you got. And that's why it
Yeah.
happens so fast, is because we bring everything together, all headed in the same direction. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
It does. It does. And the other thing too, just to give you more credit, was even if I had read that in a book, what ended up happening was, as you know, when we talked, we had to make slight tweaks along the way, because everyone's bodies adapts differently, which is why, even for my wife, I can't say, here, do this, this, and this, because the body reacts differently. So, even tweaks that you made along the way. There was a week or two where, I had I had a little bit of shoulder pain. So then you said, okay, you lined up some shoulder exercises for me, and you worked it out within, a week, it was gone. But like those little tweaks too along the way, that became invaluable, and part of the program, and why talking to you every week, not just getting material and saying, okay, I got it now, and running with it, was just, it was just much more than that.
There's definitely a formula to it that I've kind of cracked here,
Yeah.
but there's also, to your point, there's a lot of things that come up along the way that derail people,
Right.
that you just can't anticipate, like your shoulder pain.
Yeah.
Maybe something happened with you with food that was different than somebody else. Like there's
Yeah.
always going to be something a little bit different that you're going to have to pivot, you're going to have to tweak, you're going to have to modify just a little bit to kind of get over that hump and keep moving. And I think one of the things that you shared was that because we were so proactive about problems, and this is to your credit too, like you were so proactive about things, there wasn't a lot of crazy hurdles along the way, and we're able to
Right.
navigate through because we were able to spot the potholes and then go around them.
Agreed. Yep. Totally. Exactly.
Now, if there's somebody sitting at home and they're saying, well, this is fine for Ryan because Ryan's awesome and super disciplined and should be a Navy SEAL and on the cover of Men's Health. But I mean, let's get real here. Like,
Yeah.
how did you manage to do this when, I mean, no offense, I'm a regular guy, you're a regular guy. How did you manage to do this? Because they're saying, how does he do it? I'm at home, I can't do this. What
Yeah.
do you say to that person who's sitting at home that's saying, I can't do this?
No, I would say you can absolutely do it. You can absolutely do it. It, and you don't need to be, super into understanding fitness or understanding health, because again, the conversations with you, you gets broken down extremely simply. Then, and then the other thing too is when, within your app, you get onboarded, you're in your app, you're constantly monitoring each piece of your body and what's changing, what's not. Um, then, the exercises are there. And then when you're going through, there's videos for each one, and ones that, you filmed, and you're saying, here's how you do it right. That's the other thing. We can talk all night. The other thing was I was doing exercises again. So I have a tonal. So I'm doing exercise and I'm watching the film of, on the tonal, but each exercise, like you break down like a 2 to 3 minute as far as do this, don't do this, do that. And these slight tweaks made the exercises feel so different. And I realized I was not doing things the right way too. So from simple videos to simple guides to the check-ins where again that's kind of the knowledge check there. We're talking every single week as far as what you learn, what do we need to tweak, things like that. It it was just so easy to follow. And the night before we started, I kind of got this like real anxious thought. I'm like, it's a long time, and it's going to be a lot to go through. So I was scared. I was really scared, and we signed up. I was ready to go. The night before, I'm getting cold feet. I'm really nervous. We talk. You make it sound like, hey, anyone can do this. I'm like, well, let's just try it. And ever since that day, I've been hooked. I was absolutely hooked. So I'm saying anyone can do it, just because again, it's not a piece of material that you're going to take and try to learn on your own. You truly are there the entire time along your side.
I think the key is making the incremental progress and just making these incremental changes along the way, because you start here saying, wow, man, that's so far away. I can't believe it. But we break it down and we say, okay, phase one, let's just make it through these first 4 weeks. And then it's like, okay, you make it there and it's like, oh, wow, this is how far I came. And then it's the next step and the next step and the next step until all of a sudden you look back and you're like, holy cow, I can't believe how far I've come. Right.
That's
I
right.
mean, that's literally how I've built to where I'm at in terms of my body, my physique, my business, everything I've done. It's the same thing. It's saying, wow, that's really far. I can't imagine that, but I can do this next step. And then
That's
you
right.
just take that next step and then build upon it and build upon it. And you've done that incredibly well.
Yeah.
The
Thank you.
one thing I want to take a chance to do here is I want to acknowledge you, because you crushed this program. You were an incredible client. Like, I could not have asked for a better client. You took full ownership of your results, which a lot of times clients will think, well, I hired you, so now get me the results. And you didn't do that. I
Yeah.
was right there with you every step, but you took extreme ownership over your results. You prepared, you did everything that I asked you, you executed, you overcame obstacles when you needed to. Like, you did all of it, man. So,
Thank
yes,
you.
I helped, but
Yeah.
you put in the work. And that's why you feel the pride. That's why you get the feelings of accomplishment, is because you did it and you really do deserve the accolades, man. I
Oh,
can't thank
thank
you
you.
enough for all the hard work, for being there on the calls, for putting in the effort, for investing in yourself. Like, you made this happen. So thank you.
No, again, thank you. I can't thank you enough. This has been a complete transformation. And again, it's not just, over a few weeks, but this is going to continue on for the rest of my life. So I can't thank you enough. This whole house can't thank you enough.
I love hearing that. So, last little question here. Somebody's
Yeah.
sitting at home, they're on the fence, they're like, oh man, I don't know, should I do it? What do you say to that person who's sitting on the fence at home right now?
You have to do it. You absolutely have to do it. You're not going to regret it. I promise. There's not one time you're going to look back, and it's not the all right, let's just do it for this time. It's an investment for the rest of your life, and for everything and anything I've would have spent on just again GNC supplements, or just videos or books, or just going out and eating the wrong foods. Like, this has been the smartest investment I've made in my life, hands down.
I appreciate that. I can't thank you enough. And I think one thing people overlook so often
Yeah.
is investing in themselves as the best investment they can make. You always think
Totally.
crypto, is it this, is it that?
Yeah.
No,
No.
it's investing in yourself. I'm the best investment I ever made. You are
Yeah.
the best investment you ever made. I mean, that's it right there. I mean, I think
Yeah.
we can call it a day. Thank you again so much. You've been such an awesome client. I really do appreciate everything you did. It's been amazing working with you. So thank you. I really do appreciate you, and I'm so happy that you signed up and that you trusted me and that you made the investment. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Can't thank you enough. Thanks, Jackson.
Wow, just wow. I hope you enjoyed that interview. Now, I have to give a special thank you to Ryan for doing this, because, man, did he do such an incredible job during the interview, just really communicating his thoughts and sharing his feelings and being open and vulnerable and stuff. But also for all the hard work that he put into this, for the effort, the intensity that he brought, the discipline, the sacrifices he made to get to where he's at. It's just been such an incredible journey. It's been so fun to watch him, and it's been such an honor and a privilege to work with him. So thank you so much, Ryan. Now let me share a couple of insights or breakthroughs that I had listening back to this interview. The first thing I want to share is that so often we think that this is just about us, kind of ego and self-centered, eccentric. We think like, oh, it's just about us. It doesn't impact anybody else. But no, that's not true. Your decisions impact not only your friends and your family, your coworkers and colleagues, but especially the intimate family, the people around you. And if you have kids, man, does it really affect them. And you heard what Ryan said. His kids are now doing burpees, they're having push-up competitions together, and they're also eating healthier than ever. So it's really brought them together, and he's really being that role model that he always wanted to be. It's really incredible because it's not just going to affect him. It's now affecting his children, and it's going to affect his children's children. So he's impacting generations to come. He's also impacting his coworkers and his colleagues. They're seeing the difference in him. They're asking what he did. And I will guarantee you, and even Ryan shared this, he said, I've gotten 5 or 6 people that have gotten on the health and fitness train and that are really taking this stuff seriously now. So it's not just about you. It's about you. It's about your immediate family, your kids, their kids, their kids' kids, and then also your coworkers and colleagues around you. You affect and impact way more people than you think. And he's influencing a lot of people very positively right now. And I'm so proud of him for doing that. And it's just such an awesome thing to see. The second thing I want to share is his identity or his mindset shifts. You know, so many people think this is just a physical game. Give me the diet, give me the workouts, I'll do that and I'll get the results, no problem. But it's not. It's more than that. It's psychological, it's mental, it's mindset. And you heard what he said, not even believing he'd be able to get to where he's at now when he first started. Like he couldn't even fathom that. But not only is he here, but he said, I can maintain it and it's going to be easy. Wow, that's incredible. That is so incredible because he's completely shifted his mindset. You heard about the holidays, going to the holidays. Most people think there's no way I can go through Christmas or Thanksgiving, Jackson. It's impossible. Not only did he do it, but he enjoyed himself and he wouldn't have it any other way. The mindset shifts are so important. They're so overlooked. And I think they're the most underrated part of going through a health and fitness program like this. The physical stuff is awesome. Don't get me wrong. It draws the headlines. It turns the heads. It brings the eyes. It's fun. But the mental stuff, wow, that is so much more important. And his identity, man, he's a completely different person now. And not only is that awesome for himself, but to my first point, it's going to now affect his kids, his family, his friends, his coworkers, everybody. So that in itself is such a really awesome and powerful thing. The third thing I wanted to bring up was that he learned everything that he needed in order to do this change and maintain it on his own. I think that's such an important point. Now, before you buy another program, before you hire another coach or a trainer or a nutritionist or anything, you better make sure that you're taking ownership for your results, that you're taking ownership for your education, that you're asking the right questions, and that you're putting yourself in a position that you're going to learn exactly what you need to learn in order to take away and to be able to take ownership over this and be able to run with it for yourself. So many coaches, trainers, programs, nutritionists, other people out there, they keep you in this black box or at arm's length. They don't want to share the secrets. They don't want to tell you the why. They don't want to give you the insights and everything that's going on behind the scenes. I don't do that. My whole goal here with this program is to teach you everything that you need to know to never hire another coach, another trainer, or anything other ever again. I mean, honestly, my goal is not to keep clients forever. My goal is to get them an awesome result and to send them on their way so I can help more and more people, because my whole thing is how I get excited. What wakes me up in the morning, what gets me going is helping more people just like Ryan. So that's a huge, huge thing that he mentioned and something that I want you to really think about before you hire another trainer, hire another coach, or buy another program. What am I going to take away from this? Am I going to learn what I need so I can do this on my own? Because ultimately, it's up to you, and you are where it starts and where it stops. So remember that. Take ownership, and then you can truly be free. And the last point I want to make, which I think is really the sort of cherry on top of all this, is that you there listening, you there watching this, you are the best investment that you could ever make in your entire life. Now, I made a firm decision really, really early in my life, really young, that I was going to be the best investment. I used to love finance and studying stocks and options and putting on trades and doing all this stuff. And then I realized one day, like, hey, you're putting all this effort, all this money externally into these other things. Why not put that money back into yourself? Reinvest it into yourself, improve yourself, because what's that gonna do for not only your earning potential, but also for your happiness, your fulfillment, your pride, your confidence, and then for the impact that you're gonna have on the world and the other people around you. And I've been the best investment I ever made. I've invested easily over $100,000 on fitness, on health, and on also business, mindset coaching, psychology. I've gone to therapy, all kinds of stuff. But that investment has paid off in spades in not only my ability to earn an income, but also impact the world and to help people just like Ryan. And what Ryan said could not be more true. He invested in himself and he's seeing the results, and it's the best investment that he ever made. Because so often we think about crypto or options or stocks, bonds, whatever, and we forget about ourselves. But as you're watching this, as you're listening to this, you've got to remember that you there are the best investment that you could ever make. And like Ryan, if you invest in yourself, not only monetarily, not only the financial component, but also invest in yourself with hard work, with sacrifice, with intensity and effort, and a little bit of time. Wow, the results can really be mind-blowing, but really more importantly, the impact you're gonna have on your pride, your happiness levels, your family, your coworkers, your colleagues, and the world. Now that is a really, really powerful thing and something that I want you to think about. So again, thank you so much to my client, Ryan. He's awesome, he's amazing, and I could not be more happy for him and more excited and proud to watch his progress. And thank you to all of you at home. I hope you enjoyed this interview. I hope you sat there and you really listened to Ryan, that you had a couple of breakthroughs and insights of your own, and that you thought through your own kind of life, your own journey, what's going on with you, and where you can maybe make some improvements and some changes. Because self-awareness is going to be one of the best things that you could ever have in order to make changes, to improve, and to get to that next level. And just like Ryan shared in the interview, when he first started, he didn't have a lot of self-awareness. Now he does, and he's a lot better for it. So thank you again so much for listening and for watching. I'm Coach Jackson, and remember, action is the difference between dreaming and succeeding.